Hey, this is Tim Vasquez with Texas Weather, and I want to talk a little bit today about astronomy since the weather pattern is kind of dull. Let's talk about the three types of twilight. I'm going to show you an example here. This is astronomical twilight. This is like the closest thing that there is to nighttime. The sun is about 12 to 18 degrees below the horizon. I'm showing 15 degrees right here to kind of give you a representative example. It looks almost identical to nighttime, but if you're stargazing or using a telescope, you would be noticing a little bit of white light coming through, kind of interfering with things. The next phase is nautical twilight. This is from 6 to 12 degrees. Here I'm showing you 9 degrees, the sun being 9 degrees below the horizon. You can kind of see like a glow in the air, and things are starting to light up outside, but you definitely need a flashlight to get around. And the nighttime critters are still asleep for the most part, except the birds in the very top of the trees. Then we get into civil twilight. Things are really starting to lighten up about right now. This is 0 through 6 degrees below the horizon. Here I'm showing you 3 degrees to give you a very representative cut. And you really don't need a flashlight except in the darkest areas. Things are nice and bright. Getting there almost to sunrise. And here is daylight. And this example I'm showing you is the sun 3 degrees above the horizon. So things are definitely starting to light up, a little bit of orange, and it's daytime. All that was photographed on the morning of August 2nd, yesterday, Sunday morning. So let's get on with our forecast. So we always like to start with the conditions yesterday. This was Sunday, about midday, and there's the familiar cirrus debris up to the north. Let me draw that real quick. Mid-level and high-level debris from thunderstorm activity that took place in the Texas Panhandle and southwest Oklahoma the previous evening, and that's not really doing anything. There may be a few elevated showers embedded in some of this, but for the most part, nothing's reaching the surface. It's pretty dry. Then later during the afternoon, look at those cloud streets right there. Let me pick a different color here. Yeah, see that? That's low-level flow coming from the northeast. We're still pumping in some drier air from the Great Lakes region, Ohio Valley, into northeast Texas. That's a little bit unusual for this time of year. But out to the west, we're seeing cumulus developing again in West Texas, the higher terrain where some of this flow has picked up a little moisture, and that's allowing for some growth in West Texas and definitely over the mountains in New Mexico, where back here we have the monsoon flow, monsoon pattern in full force. Then towards the evening hours, this is about 7 p.m., thunderstorms going up in the Texas Panhandle from about Canadian all the way down to Amarillo, all the way to La Mesa. So storms going up there. But we stay pretty dry across eastern Texas. Louisiana's completely shut down. Arkansas shut down, and that's probably due to infiltration of dry air. We'll see that on the surface chart. So here's the radar picture at 3:40 a.m. Looks like some persistent activity along the Red River in northwest Texas and the Texas Panhandle. So this suggests to me that there's probably a bit of a boundary between North Texas and the Panhandles in Oklahoma, probably helping to keep some of the stuff going. And there's the monsoon activity. It's normal for that stuff to continue past midnight or so. Let's go down to the surface chart and see what's going on. There we go. Could definitely see that dry air. It's starting to recover a little bit, but if we look at the lower left part of that plot right there, that's the dew point in degrees Fahrenheit. So normally we want to see it in the low 70s this time of year. We're seeing mid-60s for the most part. That's due to that infiltration of northeasterly flow coming from the northern, I'd say Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region. And in the lower right, I've plotted high temperatures for the day. Not as many hundreds as we had last week, but still a few hundreds there around College Station and LaGrange. Further west of central Texas, the usual 100s there in the higher terrain. Interstate 10, Bakersfield, Fort Stockton, Midland, and Sterling City. And where's that boundary that we were talking about? Well, here's the east-southeasterly flow coming from East Texas, starting to get a little bit of southerly flow redevelop along the coast. And looking at the temperatures as we go north, we got 79, 81, 77, and don't see a whole lot of change there, 59, 61. It's hard to tell looking just at this 1 a.m. plot here, but it does look like there's a little bit of an air mass change from here. Relatively clear skies, low dew points, 64, 55, 59, and a little bit higher as we go north. There's 67, 67. So probably a little bit of an air mass change. And if anything, because of the southerly component of the low-level flow, that's going to go north. So we may see some of this activity shutting down tomorrow unless we get some dynamics coming from the west tomorrow. So we'll check out the models for that. And let's do that. Here we go. Run this back to Sunday evening. And what do we have here? Let me outline the position of the upper level high. There we go. High just slightly south of San Antonio and El Paso. And we have an upper level ridge along the Rockies, and there we've got a pretty good digging trough onto the California coast, so probably some not much needed rain there. Run this forward through Monday, and we start getting grazed by a little bit of stronger flow from Colorado to Kansas, and that'll probably keep some storms continuing along the Rocky Mountains over the next day or two, and those will drift probably in the Panhandle, western Oklahoma and West Kansas. But what about the rest of Texas? Well, we'll run that forward. There's a piece of energy coming. That's kind of new. This is about Wednesday midday, getting into Wednesday evening. So this will probably increase the probability precip just a little bit. Of course, we have to look at the surface chart and make sure we're getting inflow of low-level moisture. And if that's the case, we may see a few storms maybe being carried southward from Kansas, Colorado, probably all the way down I-20, maybe the Red River. That'll be something to watch from Wednesday. A little bit of northerly flow going into Thursday and Friday, but overall we're missing the bulk of the strong upper-level flow. See that high pressure starting to rebuild in. That's by next weekend, so. And then getting into next week, we start getting into kind of an easterly flow. I'm not sure if that's going to mean very much for Texas, probably just a continuation of the pattern that we have right now. Just continued stagnant weather, and who knows, maybe as we get into the middle of the month, we'll start seeing some changes here. But we probably will see some scattered showers here and there across Texas over the next 7 days. And if we see anything interesting, I'll pull up some radar and maybe we'll go over some of that and try to learn a little bit about storm forecasting. Anyway, that's about all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.